evening and welcome to Out and About in Ireland. Now, as you can see, I'm fully kitted out in my walking gear. That's because I'm delighted to be showcasing to you the natural and beautiful scenic walking trails of the Lakeland region of Cavan, Leitrim and Fermanagh throughout the show. With so much natural beauty just waiting to be explored, what better way to do it than by foot? So, while I get ready to take off, here's a look at what's coming up on tonight's show. We take in breathtaking views of County Leitrim, discover ancient tombs across County Cavan and get lost in the beauty of County Fermanagh, which is part of the Harnessing Natural Resources project, a cross-border walks network which involves the promotion of all key walks in the three counties. But my first stop is to the Market House Tourism Centre in Cavan, where I'm meeting geologist Gráinne O'Connor to learn more about this hub of information and its recent expansion. So Gráinne, tell us about the recent expansions here to the tourism centre.
Yeah, we're just in the Market House in Blacklion here, and it's just recently been extended and developed to accommodate new interpretation, a new app which has been developed for the local area, and a new DVD as well. So we're right in the heart of the Marble Arch Caves Global Geopark here, right on the border between Blacklion and Belcoo. And this is a really important centre for tourism because it gives tourists and locals alike lots of information on local walks, and we also have a host of local produce which is available for people to buy here, crafts and gifts as well.
And when are you hoping for the new expansion to open for the public?
Yeah, it should be open really soon. It'll have lots of information, so when you come in here, you'll be able to download the app for the burn, which is just being developed at the minute. So it'll really be great for people who are more technologically advanced and like to use an app instead of hard interpretation. There'll also be DVDs, as I said. A DVD is being produced on the local geopark sites, which aren't just about walks, lots of different activities, like for example, we have Canoe Centre up in East Cavan as well, so there's an awful lot to do, and there'll be interpretation boards in there as well that'll give people an idea of the area of the geopark and all the different sites. Like for example in Cavan we've over 25 sites, the same in Fermanagh, so there's really a variety of things to do, whether it be archaeological, historical, walking product, activities such as canoeing, kayaking. There's so much to do in Cavan and Fermanagh.
Brilliant. Well, I'm in my walking gear and we're going to head up now to the Burnway and
Great.
Start the trail.
Brilliant, can't wait.
So I've arrived to my first destination here, which is at the Cavan Burn, which is located just outside Blacklion. I'm going to head inside now and find out more about the burn itself and also the Cavan Way. So follow me. So Gráinne, as a Cavan woman, I'll admit I didn't actually know that there was a burn centre up here. Can you firstly describe to me what the Cavan Burn area is?
Yeah, we get that a lot. People think there's only one burn in Ireland, but we think there's a really important burn here in Cavan. There's a lot of places across Ireland called burn, and burn really means rocky place. It's the Irish for rocky place. And here in Cavan we have Cavan Burn Park. It's an amazing site. We've just recently developed this new interpretive centre that we're standing in. There's 5 walking trails, over 7 kilometres in length. One of the walking trails is a multi-use access walking trail suitable for people with disabilities, for prams, etc. So it really is a wonderful site, and really what makes it really important is that the archaeological and geological value of the site. So it's just one of the sites within the Marble Arch Caves Global Geopark, but really it's a flagship site for County Cavan.
This is a starting point for people when they're coming to the burn, and then they can take off on the different trails.
Yeah, really we realise that a lot of people don't want to do 7 kilometres. Some people might want to do just a kilometre, or in fact some people might not want to leave the centre at all, and that's totally fine too. And that's why we have all the interpretation here. We feel that this centre brings people on a tour around the site maybe without having to go out on it. But then if you do decide to be a little bit more adventurous, you're going across fantastic terrain. You're seeing brilliant megalithic tombs, you're seeing dry river valleys, you're seeing glacial erotics, all these fantastic features which are so abundant in Cavan Burn Park, and really that's what makes it quite magnificent, is that there's such an amount of features in a really small area for people to see. There are 4 trails which guide you through this unique landscape, and I'm off to meet Cavan County Tourism Officer Joanne Hayes to find out more about the different walks and trails Cavan has to offer.
So I'm feeling pretty excited being here at the Cavan Burn and getting ready to do the trail, but can you first describe to me what the walking trail and the walking product is all about?
Well, we're at the foot here of one of 5 walking trails in Cavan Burn Park. This one that you're standing here at now is a multi-access trail, so it's suitable for visitors with disabilities, wheelchair users, people with kids with prams, all of that. So we have 5 trails here in the park, varying in lengths, and it's a wonderful place to come to explore, to get some exercise and to, explore the outdoors. It is quite a spiritual place in a lot of ways. You can trace the history of mankind right here in this place. You can see where people lived, died, had their small farms. It's all here and it's evidenced on the landscape all around us. So I think that matters to a lot of people because they can really connect to their past here. And it's also very beautiful and it's very high up. There are fantastic views and you will really experience flora and fauna and nature at its very best up here. And I think that's the beauty of this place, is that it has something to offer everybody. If you just want to come and get some exercise and enjoy the walk, you can do just that. Or if you want to come and learn something, you can do that also. The visitor centre interprets the geology and the archaeology of Cavan Burn Park, so you can take some time to educate yourself on why this place is here and how it came to be. Or you can just simply come and with your kids and let them run around for 2 hours. It has something to offer, I think, every member of the family.
So tell me about, we've got the Burn Walk here and the different walks, but tell me about the other variety of walks around Cavan.
Well, we're in the geopark here and there are a lot of walks locally, very close by to Cavan Burn Park, which visitors can enjoy. There's the start of the Cavan Way, which is close to us here, which is a 26-kilometre walk, not for the faint-hearted and not for everybody, but we do have a lot of other walks, much shorter walks between 5 to 7k, which our visitors really enjoy. And walking is a growing product here in Cavan. We have more walks now, more marked trails than we ever had, and many of which are part of Fáilte Ireland's Loop to Walk network as well. So there are a variety of walks all over the county for visitors, all of which can be, information on which can be found on our website. This is cavan.ie or through the tourist office.
Fantastic. And talk me even through this, what we see here. So you can see as a base for people that are walking up, there's different kind of coloured routes, and are these the different trails?
Yes, there's the 5 different trails here that you can decide to do, and this is obviously where we are right here at the visitor centre. So you can see that there are a number of trails, some longer and some shorter, that visitors can actually take part in. So this is the short multi-access trail that we're on now, which will bring you right back to this point. It's a looped trail, and then there are others that take you much further out and over towards this promontory fort over here and through. These are all geological features across here, and then the tombs are dotted around the park as well, which the trails will take you on and up to. Some of them are on quite a height, like this one for example, Tullygobbin is on a height and has some fabulous views. You can actually see on a fair day the hills of Donegal, South Donegal, from this point here.
Well, I'm fully kitted out and ready to take on this walk. I'm standing here at the Cavan Burn Park with breathtaking views all around me, and I'm about to take on the multi-access way with the girls behind me. So, with all that said, here I go. Right, you ready? Okay. While we continue our walking trail, it's time to head to a break. So catch up with me in part 2 as we explore the wonders of County Cavan. Welcome to part 2. Cavan Burn Park is an area of unique geological and archaeological importance and is part of the wider Marble Arch Caves Global Geopark. So I've met with local guide Jim Nolan to learn more about the amazing sights and hidden secrets the Cavan Burn has to offer. Hi, Jim.
Oh, hello, Ashley. How
Lovely
are you?
to meet you.
Good. Yeah.
Absolutely stunning views here.
Oh, thank you. It's absolutely wonderful, isn't it?
Oh, it's breathtaking.
We're on pretty high ground here, and we can see half the known world, I think. Yeah.
So, what exactly are we looking at here?
Well, we're up on Tullygobbin Hill, which is the highest point in Burntown land, and we're looking all around. We have 360 degrees of view right around us. We're looking at mountains from Quilca Mountain in the south there, right around to Lough Allen, Ben Bulben westward, Lough Macneen split by this hill in front of us, but in the far distance Lough Melvin and the mountains of South Donegal and Fermanagh northwards, right, and eastwards.
And there's just so much history within this landscape.
Oh yeah. About 6,000 years ago, maybe 6,500 years ago, during the late Stone Age, the Neolithic people were the first farmers. They came up. They often chose upland kind of limestone regions to settle down, because they're the first people to settle down to try and control their own food supply with their crops and their animals. Before that, we hunted, we fished. We took whatever we could grab, wherever it was. When these people came up here, then it would have been covered in a forest of hazel and yew. And they started to clear that and to lay out field systems and build their homes and live their lives. And they lived, loved and died here. And when they died, they built wonderful funereal monuments. They're megalithic tombs.
Which can be seen dotted around.
All over, in very close proximity to each other, and a great variety of tombs, which you don't have kind of in the UK. You have particular tombs generally in other places. We have a variety of tombs here, portal tombs, wedge tombs. We have kind of enigmatic modified boulders. We have court tombs. We have nearly the whole stratum. So, okay, these people, they chose this place. It was upland. It was easy to clear. The hazel was easy to clear. It wasn't huge big oak trees or elm trees or anything like that. So the hazel was easy to clear. They cleared it. It was high and dry, but they needed water.
Okay.
Now, we know that this was sealed in the 19th century, but my gut tells me that it was sealed a lot earlier and done repeatedly throughout history and prehistory. So we know now that there are hundreds of monuments, not just half a dozen. We know that the whole area is an integrated, preserved, prehistoric landscape, the likes of which you do not get anywhere else.
So the history that we can see in the Burn Centre, you uncovered a lot of that within
I would. Yeah. But it's rather than I uncovered it, it revealed itself to me, let's say. Right? Because, yes, but, you looked at stuff and you said, what is that? That's kind of strange, the strange boulders, strange alignments of stones. Well, that's kind of bit by bit. Yeah.
Excellent. So we're going to go and maybe take at some of the tombs, the megalithic tombs.
We'll have a look at some of the megalithic tombs, yeah.
Great, okay. Excellent. Okay, well let's join the girls.
Okay, yeah.
What about the grass here, Jim?
That's grass, different grass. That's different grass, and we've lots of glacial till, you can see that.
Glacial till? What's that?
Glacial till, it was brought in glaciers, in the ice age.
Really?
It's what crumbling if you dig into them.
That's what's in there?
Yeah, did you see the clay and stone, gravel?
Well, we've just come down from one of the many viewpoints here in the Cavan Burn, where you can see 360-degree views, absolutely breathtaking scenery from up there. We're just going to go around now to see one of the Metholithic tombs, and Jim is going to describe it and tell us more about it. So Jim, can you describe to us the location that we're standing on right now?
We're standing very close to a very enigmatic, strange kind of structure. It's known as the calf house, and that's exactly what it was used for. It was used for sheltering calves, but in reality it is modified. It is a reconstructed megalithic tomb. It is a dolmen or a portal tomb, which is probably about 5,500 years old, but we believe it was converted to the animal shelter towards the end of the 19th century. It was built by the pioneering farmers of the Neolithic period, that's the late Stone Age period, who came here about 6,000 years ago. Archaeologists say that portal graves, dolmens, are the earliest form of megalithic or great stone monuments, burial chambers. We think, as I said, that it was converted to its present state in the late 19th century. There is a description by an antiquary. They were kind of early archaeologists called William Wakeman in the 1870s, who says that this enormous capstone was standing on 4 upright stones, each about 7 foot tall. Now, there's a description again, 1897, from a guy called Borlase, who wrote a book called The Dolmens of Ireland, more or less describing it as it is now. So we believe it was converted into an animal shelter in the late 19th century, that it either the capstone slipped or perhaps got a little bit of a push or something, but it was a ready-made roof for your animal shelter. And we have lots of different types of megalithic tomb here in Cavan. We have dolmens or portal tombs, we have wedge tombs, we have core tombs, and we've got some very strange modified glacial erratics. And I can tell you that there are more glacial erratics here than you will find anywhere in Ireland. There must have been thousands. The huge boulders that came with the glaciers in the Ice Age, and they've all been used in some way. They were all some kind of sacred space, and they were used for building their walls, for building their homes, for building their tombs.
Well, I've seen some fantastic historical monuments on my trails, but now I'm going to see something really special as Jim takes me to the wedge tomb known as the Giant's Grave. So Jim, it got a little bit nippy, but I have to say we're a lot warmer with that walk leading up to here.
Yeah.
But we've come now, we've reached the Giant's Grave. Can you tell me what does the name the Giant's Grave mean, and where did it come from?
There's a story in folklore. You see, when people, first of all, couldn't understand how tombs were built, first of all, they must have been giants according to their folk mind. So they constructed stories. Here we have a story about 2 young giants who both fancied a young female giant. Couldn't both have her. There's a huge gorge just over there with huge cliffs. They challenged one another to a competition to jump over the gorge. One succeeded, one didn't. The poor fellow who didn't succeed is buried here. Now, some would say that there was a bit of foul play, that the other guy tripped him up just as he was about to take off, but however, we'll never know now properly. So that's the story of the Giant's Grave, the fellow who was unsuccessful in his attempt to win the love of the young female giant. He fell to his death in the gorge and he's buried here. That's the story.
I feel quite sorry for him. I really do. I feel sorry for him, although you'd probably see that kind of foul play still going on today.
Oh, okay, yes, indeed.
Maybe not with
All's fair in love and war, right?
Maybe not with the same consequences. But, but standing here, I mean, the views are amazing. I can just, when looking over my shoulder, I can see from where I first met you at the viewpoint, and from where we've come here, the Giant's Grave. I mean, the place is so fantastically constructed. Can you tell us about it?
The place is so well constructed. This didn't happen it's not a random construction of tombs. This whole place was planned. The monuments were planned over a period of time. One balances out the other. They're built on hills, some of them lower down in valleys, but there is a balance in the whole construction, as there is a balance in this tomb itself. You might note there are 2 chambers. If you look at them, in one of them, the front one, the walls are perfectly worked stone with fairly rough stone on top. The opposite is true of the back. There's balance. This tomb also faces the setting sun at the winter solstice, just the same as the one on Tullygobbin. And the back, therefore, is facing the rising sun, summer solstice, and the capstone at the back is raised up to allow in the sun's rays. But the entry points to each chamber, one is facing the rising sun, winter solstice, the other is facing the setting sun, summer solstice. There's balance throughout. There's thought has gone into this. These were clever people. And they weren't giants. I may well have been a giant among them. And not quite 6 foot, right? I could well have been, right? But they could work stone. They could work stone in every way. They could lift stone. And they wrote on stone. Here, front capstone of this tomb, we've an example, fine example of what archaeologists call Atlantic rock art, cup and ring marks. We don't know what it is, but I know some of those, knew what it represented, right?
It's incredible to kind of see something that will, last forever.
Yeah, it will last forever because this is on insoluble sandstone. And it will last. It's the nearest thing to immortality that we know, I think. And this tomb here, classified as a wedge tomb. Last one we were looking at was a portal tomb, probably constructed early in the Neolithic, maybe 5,500 years ago. This was probably about 4 to 4,500 years ago, towards the end of the Neolithic period, the beginning of the Bronze Age. It is one of the best preserved of its kind in Ireland, and one of the biggest as well.
There are fine examples of Mesolithic tombs in County Cavan. The tombs situated on the trail are really spectacular. But we're on the move again as we continue our journey across a beautiful landscape to the Cavan Way. So Jim, you've brought me to the Cavan Way. We're still within the burn, but can you tell me what exactly the Cavan Way is?
Cavan Way is a long-distance waymark trail. It was set up in the mid-1980s. I think it was officially opened on the 1st of June 1987. It goes from Blacklion to Dowra, crossing varied landscapes of limestone rock karst. Then it goes to the Shannon Pot, the source of the longest river in Ireland, and follows the course of the river and its confluence with another river, the Owen Moa, to the village of Dowra.
So this would be seen as a longer walk. Would it be kind of suitable for maybe someone that is a bit more experienced, or can anyone, do you see families, more people up here?
Generally, families would be able to do the Cavan Way, yes. You'd want to be in fairly good shape though in order to, but most families nowadays are in fairly good shape. And yeah, it's slightly demanding, not over demanding. And of course it goes through Cavan Burn Park now, and we are also part of the Marble Arch Global Geopark. Usually during the Cavan Walking Festival, which takes place every year on the May Bank holiday, beginning of May, there are walks here. The walks of part or all of the Cavan Way, but there are many loops off the Cavan Way going to places of historical interest or geological interest and beautiful in themselves or whatever,
So there really is a type of walk for everyone depending on your age, but also of a matter of interest, what kind of walk you want to take upon yourself.
Oh yeah, and the Cavan Walking Festival is based really upon interest. Okay, here we would probably focus on the archaeology and the geology, but you could also, of course, the wonderful biodiversity that's here. So you could have nature walks here, just the same as the geological, archaeological walks.
And do you enjoy coming up here, Jim, in your free time to take part in the different walking trails?
I love it. In fact, I think this place is, I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderfully therapeutic. It's a place to relax. It's a place to get close to the essence of things, as I think I said before, close to reality, close to yourself, to understanding yourself.
Walking around today, I feel almost transported back to when I was a kid. The freedom and unspoiled beauty of this place reminds me of the importance of our history and also to appreciate the beautiful scenery that is around us. Now, while I'm happy to have discovered the mysteries of Cavan, it's time to move on and uncover the beauty of Leitrim. So join me in part 3. So I've just arrived in lovely Leitrim as part of the cross-border walking project, where the sun is shining yet again, and I'm going to go now and meet up with my guide, local man John Burke, who has extensive knowledge of the area, to give me a guided tour of the Slieve and Nairn Mountains. John, hi, hello, how are you?
Oh, yes,
Nice to
you're
meet
very
you.
welcome to County Leitrim.
Thank
Lovely
you so
Leitrim,
much.
Yeah.
Lovely Leitrim,
Yes, yeah. I want to introduce my co-workers here.
All right, you brought some helpers.
Yeah. This is Jack Foley, my grandson.
Hi Jack,
Foley.
how are you?
That's Ashley.
Nice to meet you.
And this is Ethan from Italy.
Hi Ethan,
He's
how
here
are
for a couple
you?
of weeks. Yeah, he's in Ireland for a couple of weeks.
All
Yeah,
right, okay.
yeah.
The more the merrier.
Absolutely, no. And I'm going to take you up to the family grave.
Okay.
Yeah, with the people, the great famine of 1845 to 1848,
Brilliant.
where the people were buried up here in mass graves.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So we'll take a walk up to the.
yep,
Yeah,
I'm ready
okay,
for you.
okay.
Lead the
Come on,
way.
come on. There you go.
After a short but stunning walk, we came up to the Famine Memorial, where we met local historian Jackie Lee. So Jackie, can you tell me about the famine graveyard that's here?
Well, during the Great Famine, so many the big families up the mountain there, and a lot of them emigrated after the famine. But what happened there was that so many died during the Great Famine that they were buried up here in a mass grave, because the people that lived up here, there's so many died around that time, that the main graveyard was about 4 miles away, and they weren't able to carry the coffin down. They'd have to carry them on their shoulders. So they were buried in a mass grave up here. So a few years ago then, in 1998, a few of the neighbours, John Burke and a few of us, the Hill Walking Club, decided that we put up a stone here and to mark the spot where it happened, because there's no graves, as such. So we put up that stone there, and since that then we had mass here a few years ago for the souls of those that died during the Great Famine. And we were delighted because a lot of hill walkers come to Slieve and Nairn. They see the stone and they say a prayer, and it's in memory of those that passed away.
So Jackie, you've seen a lot of hill walkers coming through the area. Tell me, how did the hill walker community set up?
John Burke and his wife came to live here many years ago, John?
1978.
1978. And we looked around and we said, what about starting something up to bring tourists to the area? And then we looked up at the mountain and we said, the Slieve and Nairn mountain is there. What about hill walking on the mountain? So then we said, my idea would be then that the local people around here they might put an extension to their houses, private houses, and people would come and have a bed and breakfast and walk on the mountain there. So that's how we started. Then we got on to Leitrim Tourism in Carrick, and they got brochures printed, and the tourist office in Carrick kind of is promoting it at the moment now. So we have hill walkers locally, and we get them from all over Ireland, England, the continent. And hill walking, you see, people that walk nearly every weekend, they walk someplace. They mightn't walk Slieve and Nairn, but they walk, well, it's 1,927 feet high. 585 metres is the height, and then Loughallen then is at the back of the mountain there. So we're plugging away there, trying to get as many as we can to come. And people that walk on the mountains in Ireland, they go over to Wales, they go over to Scotland, the continent, and even further afield. So it's a nice way. It costs nothing, you know. It's a cheap way of spending the weekend, and we're very satisfied at how it's going at the moment.
Jackie, thank you so much for chatting to
Thanks,
us.
not at all, no. And
maybe
glad to
next
have you
time,
here.
yeah, maybe next time when I come back, if the B&B doesn't set up, I can crash in at yours. All right, so John, where to next on our walking trail?
Well, Aisling and I are going to take you for a walk on the Crumby Loop.
Brilliant. Okay, lead the way.
There we go.
Come on, Jackie. So just before we head up towards Bencroy, we've stopped off at the beautiful location of Loch Allen to take in some of the local scenery. But also, John, I want to know about all the different types of walks that are available here in Leitrim.
Yeah, there's a whole variety of walks in the county of Leitrim, and there's A, B and C walks. Yeah, the A walk would be for the experienced walker, you know, especially on Slieve and Air now. And you wouldn't want to get caught out there in mist and fog, you know, without knowing where you're going. So the C walk then would be geared for families, you know. Like the walk we left there, the Crumby Loop, that's ideal for families. They can actually take the whole family on a walk, even their pets on the walk, yeah.
And it's great because it takes in the whole scenery of
It does,
all
yeah,
the area as well.
yeah. And then the flora and the fauna on the walks.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And there's not just walking, like there's some great walking routes along the way, but there's also cycling as well.
The cycling train goes right through County Leitrim, up to Carrick-on-Shannon. It goes right into Cavan, up into Fermanagh. I believe it goes up into Tyrone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and in parts of Donegal as well. It's huge. It's like the figure 8 on the map. You see it if you look at it. You know the routes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and yet again they're developing walks on the canal, the Ballinamore-Ballyhon Canal. Their walks are being up towards Leitrim Village now. There's walks from Kilclar all the way up to Leitrim Village. It's amazing all the people using them in the evening time, you know, after work. Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about the walk that we're going to be taking part on now, heading towards Bencroy.
Oh, Bencroy, yeah, the views are spectacular from Bencroy. We'll be looking into County Roscommon, Longford, Cavan, and into Fermanagh. You can see some from Fermanagh. You'll enjoy that, so shall we go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll run now.
After you?
Yeah.
Okay. As I make my way across Leitrim, I'm overwhelmed by the spectacular scenery, the clean, fresh air, and the benefit of healthy exercise each trail has on offer. So I'm really looking forward to discovering more on these cross-border walking trails. So John, we've made it nearly to the top of Bencroy. It wasn't easy, but you definitely put me to shame. You're as fit as a fiddle. But we had to stop along the way here and take in this spectacular view. Can you tell me what exactly we're looking at here?
Well, Aisling, out in the distance, we're looking at County Fermanagh over in the far distance. There's a wind farm on there on top. Belongs to Sean Quinn, used to belong to Sean Quinn. Out here then we have County Cavan, way out in the distance there in County Cavan. And we swing around here to County Longford, and then around to County Roscommon over there. Spectacular views. And that lake in the distance you can see there is right beside Garradice. It's Garradice Lake, it's beside Newtown Gore. Ballinamore you can see there in front of you. This is St. John's Lake, it's on the Ballinamore Carrick-on-Shannon Road. And Loch Score there beside Keshcarrigan, the village of Keshcarrigan. And you're looking way back into Carrick-on-Shannon then. Sheemore, that mound over there, as on the way to Carrick.
And it's amazing when you get up to this view and you say all the counties, like you don't actually realise just how closely connected all the different counties are.
Not really, it'll get up to some heights, you know, and looking at the distance, especially in the good weather. It's beautiful here in good weather. And of course, all of Leitrim is a beautiful county. You know, it's they don't call it lovely Leitrim for nothing, you know.
Absolutely, well, I've definitely discovered that.
New walks we've got coming on stream now. We've got canal walks in Ballinamore, and from Kilclar to Leitrim Village. They're developing the walks there. And of course we've got all a series of walks around here, which are fantastic, which are maintained, our walks are maintained by the Rural Social Scheme. We've got 2 guys permanently on board, trimming and replacing the markers if they're damaged or things like that, you know.
And do you bring the family up here?
Absolutely, yeah. When our kids were young, we used to have picnic here every Sunday. And there was no problem with just getting them to bed at night when you got them home, you know. They were quite sleepy when they got home. The exercise up here.
That's a selling point for itself, really. I mean, once you get to this point, it's easy to see why families can come and enjoy it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lovely, lovely area. The beauty of our walks around here, they're for everybody, you know. They're mostly family-orientated thing. You can bring your family, like walks. This is what's strenuous what we done today, like. But
you're not joking.
But I tell you, families can no problem getting up here. You're not in a rush. You're not trying to make time to get to the top of a mountain or anything like that.
Exactly.
You can take a leisurely walk. And it's quite strenuous, but we have the regular walker, then it would be no problem to the regular walker, you know.
And like that, to come up here in a leisurely pace, you're taking in so much of the area, and when you get to even this point, to just sit and just to take it all in and appreciate it.
The views, look at this fabulous, looking out in the distance there, huh? Yeah.
It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful place, beautiful place.
What, you know, about the walking do you enjoy most, John?
Oh, I loved it, being out in the open air. It takes all the stress away from you. If you're in a stressful job, get out in the mountains. You'll be cured like that. You know, because it's, you know, you see the nature and wildlife and the flora and the fauna. It's absolutely fantastic, you know. And that's why people is working 5 days a week in an office. They like to get out the weekend, join a walking club, get out, enjoy their weekend out in the open air. Because, you know, we're just passing through here. You'll never get a second chance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, John, we wish you absolutely every success with the continuation of the walking trails here in Leitrim. And while me and John get our breath back and continue on with our walks, we're going to take a quick break now, but join us back here in 3. So I'm standing outside the Marble Arch Caves Global Geopark Visitor Centre here in Fermanagh, where the sun is shining and I'm all set, ready to go for the next part of my walking trails. So Richard, can you explain to me exactly what a Global Geopark is?
Essentially, a Global Geopark is an area of the world which has geology of international importance, and where that geology is professionally interpreted, where it's used for sustainable tourism, and where it's backed up by a whole raft of other special interests such as archaeology, biodiversity, like where we're standing, cultural activities, food even, music, different things like that. So essentially it's a landscape and how people interact with it.
And how did you become involved in that concept?
Well, we've been operating here since 1985, long before geoparks were first thought of. They came out in 2000, and I actually got a phone call from a pal of mine who works for the Geological Survey in Dublin, a guy called John Morris. And John rang me up, had I heard about geoparks? No. He said, well, you should find out about them because the criteria could have been written with what we were doing in mind. So we went and had a look, and we went to a seminar in Spain, initial seminar, and we came back and we decided to apply. So we became the first geopark in the United Kingdom. And then when we expanded the geopark from Fermanagh here in Northern Ireland into County Cavan next door in the Republic of Ireland, we became the first geopark anywhere in the world to cross a border. So we were the world's first cross-border geopark as well.
That's incredible. And I feel like standing here, I'm in this kind of jungle in the middle of Fermanagh. Can you tell me about the conservation of a place like this?
Yeah, well, this spot where we're standing in the Marble Arch National Nature Reserve, or locally known as the Claddagh Glen, is a remnant of the damp ash woodland that once covered most of Ireland. So this is how prehistoric people would have seen Ireland, with ash trees and oak trees and holly trees and all the undergrowth. Undergrowth's very luxuriant here because it's not really grazed very heavily or anything like that. So this area is managed for nature, so if a tree falls down like this one over here, it's left there, it's made safe, but it's essentially left there to rot down into the ground, and the little bugs and insects can have a feast on it. And so it's, everything that happens here is for nature, and people are secondary.
And is there community involvement? People within the area, do they come here more? Do they take part in the walks and the trails?
Yeah, I mean, we get all sorts of users. There's very casual family groups come, but we also get more hardened walking clubs. We also have outdoor education centres use the areas for challenging walking for kids, teenagers, where they have to plan and navigate routes over the mountains and camp out for 3 or 4 nights, all self-contained. So all those aspects really, and then linked to that we have people who want to walk up into the mountains for the walk's sake also, but also to do other activities like rock climbing or whatever it might be, caving of course.
It's great, so there's an abundance of activities for people to enjoy.
Yeah, sure, yeah, great.
It's great. Well, Richard, thanks a million for talking to us.
No problem.
And I'm looking forward to seeing more of this splendid park.
Well, go off and enjoy it.
Thank you. So before I set off to explore the wonders of Fermanagh, I'm off to meet my guide Michelle Shannon to learn about all Fermanagh has to offer. Hi Michelle.
Hello Aisling, how are you?
Great, lovely to meet you. So you are the Geopark Supervisor. Tell me about your role.
I could spend hours explaining it to you, but basically what we have is we have a large area of land, as Richard has mentioned, the Geopark, and we're trying to develop it. But we're developing it for many reasons. But basically we're trying to open it to the public so that they can access all the sites. So in relation to my daily job, I'm going out to different sites and looking at how we can develop it. So we're developing footpaths, looking at cycle trails, looking at sites in relation to their viewpoints, looking at interpretation, site furniture. And then once we have all these developments done, like for example at the moment we've over 100 kilometres of walking routes. So once they're done, we then have to maintain them and manage them, and we're responsible for doing that as well. The sites we have, they're not just visited by tourists, but they're also local people who live in the area locally who are using the walks. So some of the walks we have developed, we've taken that in mind, and we've designed a walking route that we know is already being used by local people and catering for what they would like to see. The other thing as well, because the sites are so popular, we also run Geopark events. So within these different sites where we have walks, they're not just there for people to walk, but for example this weekend we have a bat walk at one of our sites, Castle Caldwell. So people are going out to walk along the footpaths, but they're actually there to look at the bats at night time.
Nice.
So we have them running all year round as well.
That's fantastic. And tell me about the different walking trails that are on offer here surrounding the area.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we've over 100 kilometres of walks. But the walks we try to have them varied so that it's something that will suit everybody, their needs and their mood, and also their skills. So we have walks available for people who have a little bit of experience. They want to get out in a remote area for the day where they're experiencing pure wilderness, where all they will see all day is sheep. So we've walks for people like that. And then we've walks for families, people who are out for the day want to just do a wee short intermediate walk, people who want to see something of interest. So we have walks where you have archaeology, history, pure landscape, or we have a walk where you actually go to see a cave entrance. So we have them all catered for. We're still developing a lot more. We'll still be developing walks for the next couple of years, and the walks that we have already built and we have open, we'll also be improving them, because once we have them open, we're looking at little things we can tweak to make them better, to make a really good experience for the person who's going out there. And what we've started to do is we've actually started to monitor people going to access these sites. So we've put in people counters and vehicle counters hidden in some of the locations, so we can actually work out how many people, what time of the day, what months are popular for going to these sites. So you'd be very surprised, some of the walks that we didn't think were too popular, we're coming back saying that there's over 1,000 people coming to do that walk on a month.
Wow.
And then we were seeing what time of day most people like to visit, or what day of the week. So in relation to that, we use that information as well, that if we're going to have staff out there working in the area and we want them to be able to meet and greet people, we'll have them out on those particular days. Or if we're running an event, we kind of work out what time of year. For example, April seems to be the time everybody loves to get out walking and getting outside. And I don't know if it's after Easter and they're trying to lose a few pounds, but April seems to be this year our really busy month for people getting out and about.
Okay, Michelle, so the sun is shining and I'm ready for my next walking trail. Tell me, where am I going?
Well, Aisling, I'm actually going to bring you up into Culca Mountain Park.
Okay.
It is a 1 minute drive from here, and Culca Mountain Park is spectacular. You have Culca Mountain surrounded by blanket bog, and there's about 2,600 hectares of land, over 33 kilometres of footpaths and trails. And I'm going to bring you up there and just show you a little snippet of what you can experience if you go out walking there for a day.
Fabulous. Okay, lead the way.
Okay.
After a short drive, we've arrived at the amazing Quilca Mountain, which stands at 665 metres high and is surrounded by blanket bog. It's in a location that instantly grips your attention and doesn't let go.
What we have up here is we have 33 kilometres of walking routes, but they're separated into 6 separate walks. So the walks vary in relation to 2 of them lead onto the summit of Culca, which you can just see behind my shoulder, or some of the other walks are actually in the lower ground area where you're going through areas of limestone region with karst features, or you're going through Florence Court Forest. So it has a little bit of everything for people. We're still developing our walks here and upgrading them, but in the future what we really hope is where you were at the Cavan Burn, we wanted that people visiting there, people visiting here, will connect the 2 sites together so you can make a full day walking from one location to the other. But it's not just walkers it attracts people who are into photography, painting, people who just want to come out somewhere tranquil, to get away, just to enjoy even a simple thing as a picnic up here. So you'll have people from all walks of life coming here, spending a day, spending a week in the area, or just coming in and spending a few minutes. But as you can see, the landscape around us is blanket bog. You've a really rare habitat here. It's actually designated, it's a special area of conservation, which is a designation under the European Union's Habitat Directive. And how it got that designation is because of literally what you can see in front of you, the habitat, the biodiversity. It's very important as well in relation to the birds here in this area, and this is what we're striving to protect. So although public are coming in here, our first priority when we're looking at developing trails or maintaining existing trails is to keep this area as natural as possible, and the wildlife and the vegetation has to be protected. And it's this that also attracts people to the area because it's very, very special. And it's unique as well because the landscape is so rugged and you could walk for an hour and see nothing but wild sheep. So if you're living in Belfast, it is a nice place to go and get away for a day and just experience something different.
Fantastic. So where's next on the walking trail?
Where I'm going to bring you to next is completely different landscape. I'm going to bring you to Loch Navar Forest. Loch Navar Forest is located just outside Durganley village. So it's a little drive from here. It is one of the most beautiful locations in Fermanagh. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Fermanagh woman, but where I'm bringing you to is Maho Cliffs Viewpoint. The Maho Cliffs are 304 metres high, and the walk we have is along the top of the cliff, overlooking Lower Loch Earn. So I think you'll like it. Loch Navar Forest consists of a 7-kilometre long scenic drive, and along that drive we have put in infrastructure for visitors. So we have a number of different walks. We have approximately 6 walks that you can do within this one area. We've also viewpoints like the one we're at the moment. This is called Achemilin Viewpoint. So you can come here for a day with your family and just have picnics and take in the views and just have a relaxing day. Or if you're feeling adventurous, you can do some walks. So the walks we have here do vary in length and type of walk. So we have walks that lead into waterfalls, around lake shores, bring you deep into the forest, or bring you to a cliff top where you have immense views over Lower Loch Earn. So we're going to continue now and I'm going to show you a glimpse into these walks.
Well, throughout the programme, I've enjoyed the cross-border walking project, starting off in my home county of Cavan, where we went to the Burn and the Cavan Way, stepping into the beautiful Leitrim, where we went to the Slieve na hÉireann Mountains, and then finally ending up in the beautiful Fermanagh, where we visited the Marble Arch Caves. We also came to the Loch Navar Forest and ended up in the stunning location of the Mahou Cliffs. All I can say is my feet are killing me, but it absolutely doesn't matter, because with a piece of heaven like that, there's no reason why we all can't step out and enjoy the beautiful scenery that our country has to offer.